Got a hold on me. What's happening, peeps? Awesome. I'm live. This is great. Gotta put my music on hold. Yes. Hey guys, how are you all? I don't know who's on, but it doesn't matter. I'm gonna share some love. Just to clarify, so the video is, I have to read specifically what I wrote. Feel like dying, killing yourself, going into a deep sleep, no longer want to be on this planet. And the reason I'm going there is, I'm going to take my glasses off because it's scary. I'm okay, just to check in. So I'm totally cool. Let me talk to my dog. Matt, Lilo, good girl. So I'm totally cool. But the reason I'm sharing this touchy subject is because I've had too many people around me in that space, and I'm like, do I just get on with what I do best and work behind the scenes and just do what I do, or do I share that with my social media? Because obviously, I guess if it's coming up for me and there's lots of people in my life that it's happening to, perhaps it's a sign to talk about it. So hence where I'm on, and I'm just going to see if I can read any messages, because some people put some messages there, but I can't see them for right now, but all good. Maybe it's there. Please hold, peeps. Yeah. So if you're on, thanks for joining me. So I'm honoured that you are here. So how it first started, probably a couple of weeks ago, where one particular person reached out to me, and this person was going through a bit of hard time, like a crisis of meaning, meaning what are they meant to be doing with their lives? Are they meant to change the whole way they do, what they do with their work? Because, life can throw a few curveballs. And this person asked me, what do I do to stay in a state of happiness and to know what my purpose is? And I just went, oh, okay, I found it hard to actually language, because I'm the kind of person that just gets on with shit. Like when trauma happens, I just get on with it. But I'm going to share with you how that can be not healthy as well. Excuse me, I'll just pull up no one wants to see no cleavage. And I said, oh my God, that's an awesome question. Let me think about it. And so I thought about it, and I went, oh, it's when I start my day right. And I gave that person a few tips about when I know I've started my day right, how the rest of my day flows. So I'm going to share that with you. But the big reason why I really, really wanted to share this on a Friday night, I'm like, fuck it, I'm just going to go there, is because someone in my family, very, very close to me, reached out and basically said no longer wanted to live. And I was so fucking gutted. But then I went, no. In that split second, I just thought, it's not about me. So if anyone ever comes to you about this, don't make it about yourself. Just, I'm going to give you 3 tips about what to do right now. So if anyone ever says that to you, and you need to know, I guess, you need to rate it, whether they're really serious about suicide or like how serious they're thinking. So the things you don't say is, oh, that's a silly thing to say, or that's a stupid thing to think about it. Or if they've got kids, saying things like, well, what about your kids? They don't really give a shit right now because they're not in the right headspace. So saying stuff like that may make them feel worse, or it's not going to help. So why even say that? So I remember when I went to one workshop, because I was intrigued about how people think when they're really wanting to end their life. I'm just intrigued by it. And the number one thing that, if anyone says that to you, is, have you thought about how you want to kill yourself? I know, it can be pretty like, what? Do you actually say that? Yes, you do. You actually ask them specifically if they've thought about it, and then get them to walk you through it. And the reason is because most people out there are not psychologists. They don't know what to do. But then that'll give you an indication of how serious they are, or if they're just reaching out for help. And if they are that serious, where they've Googled it, they know, step by step how they want to do it, then yeah, get them some help. I know Rabina Mental Health, you just can drive them there yourself. So yeah, just be brave enough to have that conversation. I think lots of people, because they feel uncomfortable with it, just try to numb it down, or tell the person they're being silly, and it's not going to help them. So be a brave person, show courage, and ask them specifically to talk about it. And the reason I don't give a shit about talking about that stuff is because I embrace the darkness, I embrace the shadow. I just embrace it because I know from lots of trauma that I've had in my life and just stuff that's happened, is when you actually speak to the darkness, or you actually go in to feel the pain, then the other side is so much of a reward, rather than staying in that ugly pain and it just makes you feel like shit. So be brave. So that's probably my first tip. The next one would be just to take action. So this particular person, I knew they were just sort of okay, but then they reached out to me by like just a simple text. I thought I was doing better, but I'm not. And I just immediately just knew. So I rang them straight away. And I went and picked them up, brought them back here. But by that time they were drunk. So number 2, drink, alcohol, drugs, even having sex, whatever. It's when you're going to that place, it's not going to help you. It's not going to heal you. It's just going to make things worse, especially alcohol, because although it will numb you at that instance, the next day you're going to feel like you've been shit because, as we all know, alcohol is a depressant. I mean, I can have a glass of wine and stuff, but it's whether you choose to do it because you're trying to numb the pain. It's like food, same thing. It's whatever you're trying to not feel, don't do that. So anyway, when I picked up this person, already off their face, and by then was an absolute mess. And I've never seen someone so broken. And although it broke my heart, my mind just flicked into overdrive of like, what do I need to do? So, the things that I did was got them showered, put them to bed, and just basically did a healing. Now, if you think you don't have those skills, all it is for me, I just did lots of, it's a strong sense of self that you have to have in yourself to just know that you can be there for that person or any person that you brought into their vortex. You've obviously brought them into your world for a reason. You can either show up and be courageous or not. Essential oils are awesome on the feet. You don't want to go to the place of victim with them. You don't want to like sort of mollycoddle them. I mean, I showed copious amounts of love, but then I also showed shitloads of tough love. So when they're talking shit, I basically just said, cut that shit out. You have to. You've got to take charge, because they're not in a space to make those decisions, so you have to. And then what else did I do? What did I do next? And then I brought out my shamanic drum. So I think I've got it on my step. Hold on. Oh, I love the woo-woo. I call this my pussy drum, but anyway. So this is her. And that's what I did there. Might not come very clear over the laptop, but in person it has this deep guttural sound, and as if you Google like higher vibrational music changes your mood. So it could be, even when my kids are listening to, there's a certain kind of hip hop that I can't bear listening to. It drives me nuts. So you push play on that and I'm like, I'm fucking crazy. I say to my kids, turn that shit off. It makes me go cray-cray. So it's whatever that vibration of that music is, I can't hear it. So with that particular drum, it's a soothing sound, and it's like a homely, earthy sound. So that's what I do. If you haven't got one of those, you can Google it, high vibrational music in the background, and just to soothe that person, because their mind needs to get a little bit of clarity. And so that's what I did. And I took charge. I was basically a boss when it came to that shit, because no one's dying on my motherfucking watch. So the next day I took that person to the doctor, walked in there with them and got them help. Easy. Three-part things, that's all you need to do. The ultimate thing is to show courage, and if you've invited that person, I'm talking about energetically or whatever, you've invited them into your vortex, so, you know, step up and, again, be courageous. And if you are going through a state where it may not be that bad, but you think your life is just shit and you don't know where the light is, you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel or the forest. My friend that I told you that called me asking me what do I do in the mornings, when I know my day's just on purpose, just on fleek, is because I wake up and my phone is not in my room. If it's next to my bed, that's just shit. It just ruins the whole day, because then I just reach out, I turn, you know, if I have to turn the alarm off, yeah, it just ruins the day. And so I know when my day is beautiful is when my mantra cards, which are next to my bedside table, I have one for my life purpose, one for my love relationships, my love sex relationships, and one for my money relationships. And so I read those and I integrate them and I feel into them. And I don't do that straight away because obviously my eyes have to wake up. But I remember listening to Oprah recently and someone asked her this similar question. And she said even before her eyes are open and she's stirring, she just says, oh, you know, I'm here and I'm grateful. So even like touching your body to say, oh, I'm here, thank you, is showing just gratefulness, the fact that you woke up. And believe me, I'm not always, you know, rainbows and unicorns. I've had dark, I think probably the worst darkness that I ever had was with my first life partner, and that was a pretty hectic, you know, DV situation. I was always in hospitals and so forth, getting stitched up, and it was a pretty dark time because one, I was embarrassed because my parents told me not to be with that person, and I thought I knew better. So there's lots of shame around that, and to reach out for help. I think back then, I mean that was like 20 plus years ago. I didn't know where to go. They didn't have social media in those days, and it was kind of like a taboo subject, and you know, and I've always been kind of the person that's spoken out when I see things like unjust things. And there was a saying in New Zealand that was from the movie Once We Were Rose, and everyone thought it was funny, was you're just too bloody lippy. And that used to run in my mind that I was just too vocal, just too lippy, and so maybe I asked for it. So I know in those times, that was probably my darkest time in my life, that I didn't sort out ways to kill myself. I just thought, oh my God, it'll be easier if I wasn't here. So I can totally relate, and I understand where anyone might be, but to get from that to where I am now, I'm always grateful, and I just really concreted or anchored into that time that I never ever wanted to experience that again. So I've just surrounded myself with beautiful friends, and I mean, I've got, you know, amazing children that even sometimes are like, really? when they muck up. And, you know, business colleagues, and just, I asked for that. Like I didn't sort it out. I just, if you believe in energies and how it works, you know, you need to change. You need to be who you want to attract. So if you want to attract those kind of people, you need to be that kind of person. So you'll bring them into your world. And so that's basically how I've brought that in personally. What else can I say about suicide? It's an unspoken, it's pretty much up there with money, sex, and suicide. I see lots of posts about suicide, to speak up. And the first thing is being, I guess, brave enough to speak up, but knowing how to language what you're actually feeling without owning it. So when I was talking about this person, family member, they said, I've got depression. So they're owning the fact that they're depressed. And I know because they're not in the right mindset, they're thinking that. But when you know, say any I am statements, or basically you're just owning it. like, you know, you wouldn't want to say I am fat, because then you'll stay fat for like fucking forever. So be very careful with your language, and because I know for lots of things that even that I've created now, like in business, and I go, oh my goodness, how did that happen? And I remember, a couple of years ago, I thought I would like to do this, and then it appears 2 years later. So I'll give you a classic example. It's nothing to do with suicide, but I remembered about a couple of years ago, I thought, you know what I'd love to do is at the cinemas, like, you know, the event cinemas, I'd love to be like, I don't know, an MC for movies, because I love movies and I love to introduce the movies, but I'd love to do it for, I didn't say for a lot, but I'd love to do one of the 50 Shades of Grey movies. That's just a thought that came into my head, and I just thought, God, my hair's annoying me. And I just thought that is what I'd love to do. Just, you know, be there for 50 Shades Grey, give them a bit of education. I mean, 50 Shades was coming out once a year, 3 years in a row. And that's a thought I had about 2 years ago. And then, crazy, like seriously, someone said that they're doing the event at Event Cinemas. And I said, put me in contact with the organisers. And so I did. And they said, yeah, come and have a table there, and we'd love you to MC the 50 Shades of movie. And so I've done every movie since then. But what I'm trying to give you an example of is what you put your thoughts to, or your dreams, or whatever fucking comes true. And I get frustrated because for me personally, I don't dream enough. I don't dream it big enough. So, I mean, you can dream about being suicidal, and pretty much that'll end up that way. Or you can change your mindset and go, okay, I feel like shit now. You know, what can I do? So that's whenever I've been stuck in a situation, feeling stuck, feeling like in the corner, like what is something I hate feeling? I hate feeling like I can't see my way out, like a caged animal. And whenever I'm feeling like that, I'm like, okay, I am like my best guru is me. So I ask myself, okay, what do I need? What am I feeling? So I ask myself what I'm feeling. I'm like, okay, cool. Is that a lie? So I basically ask myself, is that actually a lie? Yep, it is. Why is it a lie? Why is it a lie? And then really, really get clear. And then the more I have these internal conversations about what's really happening, then I get my answers. It's like, it's seriously, you just have to go there. You have to have those conversations where you might, you know, lots of people I hear, they put aside their fears because they don't want to have that conversation. Man, speak openly about them. Hey, Alexis, sorry, I was in the middle of my rant, but all I want to say is I think that's enough, kōrero, I think that's enough talking for me, but as someone asked me a question. Oh, Alexis, I love her. Miss Bra Lady, I haven't got your bra on today. And the other thing to do if you are in a funk is move. Like, I mean, you'll hear, and I know it's the worst thing, but it'll just go round and round and round, is to move. So I know if I'm like on a Netflix binge, I'm like, what the hell are you hiding from, Patty? So that's my number one probably awareness is like, okay, you've watched that whole series. What are you trying to avoid? So that's me being honest with you and the rest of the world. And then I go, oh, yeah, I don't want to do that big project because I'm scared shitless. Those are the kind of conversations I have with myself, like real ones. So, you know, create your own inner tribe, your inner circle, you know, be the person that you want to hang out with. You know, like if you enjoy your company, this conversation wouldn't relate because you obviously don't enjoy your company right now. So then what can you change right now? For me personally, I love going to the gym. It's a bitch to get there because I took myself out of it so many times. So I've got me a couple of gym buddies. So once I get there, I just smash and I love it. But getting there is just, oh my God, it's this whole world of trauma. And dancing for me, also works. You don't have to be a good dancer. I've never gone to any professional training. I just love moving my body, moving my hips. Just whatever works because you can feel alive. What else do I do? Toning. So toning is a really good way of clearing your voice, but also to hear your voice and also to connect to your body. Because again, it's like the shamanic drum. It's a vibrational healing. give it a go, Google it, and you're like, oh my God, yeah, sound is so fucking healing. When you hear screaming, not so much healing, is it? It's negative. So you can just do that in the reverse. Nice sounds, toning is a positive healing. I think that's about it. And on the good news, this person is doing awesome. What a difference a day makes of showering that person with so much aroha, just surrounding that person to know that they're cared for, and also know that you'll call them on their bullshit when they're choosing to stay in that victim state. I know. So I hope that's helped for anyone that may be out there. Share the video. You know, if anyone that you know is going through something, and if you are going through that funk right now, I'm going to sneeze. Oh, message me. I got you. Seriously. I was born with a huge ass heart for a reason. So I realize that's one of my callings, is to share my love with people. So when I meet people that I just love, I just tell them. I have no shades in telling them anymore. What have I got to lose? So I just share that with people and be courageous. It's probably the biggest thing that I can say. Hey, Kylie, my beautiful friend. She's in Whoop Whoop. I never know where she is. Celebrating her first daughter's wedding. Love you, my darling. So I hope that's helped with anyone going through those fucked up head fuckery times. Yes, it can be, but know that there is a way that you can create a different way of living, and just start doing things differently. Just change one thing that you're doing right now that's obviously not working in your life, and just create change. So yeah, but I'll put a link underneath this video. You can book a chat with me, and we can have a corridor, have a talk about what's really going on, and see if you can get out of that funk. There's also Lifeline, which is, I actually got the number on my phone, so please hold. But I mean, you Google it. It's like, please hold. Where is it? 13114. So they're open 24 hours. They're there for you. There is no excuse to take your own life. Get help. Don't stay stuck. And, get your ass moving. Excuse me, I'm going to get moving right now. But dancing, man, it changes your vibration. You can feel your hips moving and swaying. It's just the most beautiful feeling ever. Yeah, and on to happier notes, I am speaking at Women's Expo tomorrow and Sunday, and I'm talking about bringing sexy back. So really teaching whoever's in the audience to get reconnected and start to feel their body and just to feel alive. So I can't wait for that. Until my next video, people, stay amazing and know that you're amazing and know that you're loved. Bye.